This and every episode of REKT Podcast is brought to you by Beaksy Exchange, an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange built in collaboration with One Market Data. Beaksy is bringing legacy finance speed, power, and sophistication to crypto for the first time. With 225,000 transactions per second per pair, comparable to NASDAQ, 15 order types on day one, with 25 order types on full rollout, and a dedicated customer support team, Beaksy is setting itself apart from the competition. Check out Beaksy today at Beaksy.com and pre-register today at Beaksy.com/registration to get your free Beaksy Exchange tokens. That's Beaksy.com, BEAXY.com.
We're live on the REKT podcast with Your Imperial Majesty Godson Mansa, aka the prophet of the alt gods and the last person to not trade on BitMEX.
Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host Crypto Chamber. Chamber, how you doing, buddy?
Man, that was the most epic intro ever. I was.
I think it's the best one we've ever had.
I feel like this is gonna be a real good show. I'm very excited about this one.
Off to a hot start, and we have a wonderful guest with us. We've been looking forward to this one. Godson, how you doing, man?
I am good, bro. I'm good. It's a good week. Alts are popping off. Bitcoin is making new highs. It's a good week.
It's going crazy right now. I was sitting here playing a little Moon REKT, as you know I'm addicted to out there, and literally every 5-minute candle for about the last hour and a half has been green. So rallying into the weekly close here. So pretty interesting stuff, which is good. And we have the altcoin whisperer on here.
Yeah.
So can't wait to talk about some of that stuff. But yeah, Chamber, how you been, buddy?
Good. I've been live tweeting my cannabis baking all day today.
I saw that. It's like you're like Paula Weed.
I am.
Oh boy.
Somebody said I was the Martha Stewart of cannabis. So I thought that was pretty nice.
Martha Stewart of cannabis. Yeah, that would work. Let's. Who else? Who else is a famous chef out there?
I don't know. I watched the bad
Gordon
ones.
Ramsay of.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay, the Gordon Ramsay of weed, the Sultan of
the Gordon Ramsay of ganja.
The Gordon of ganja. That's it. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Anyway, so let's get right into it. Godson, we always ask our first-time guests here how they got into crypto. So if you wouldn't mind giving us your journey to how you became where you are today.
Do you want the long story or the short story?
We got time.
All right. So in 2011, I moved to London, right? And I was, the environment was sort of post, Great Recession, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse," and people were trying to, hedge their bets with some investment or the other. And, my group was all into silver and gold and whatever, and talking shit about Bitcoin at the time. So we didn't touch it, right? But again in 2013, Dogecoin blew up, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I should actually do this. So I downloaded I got the Dogecoin wallet, and then bought some Dogecoins on eBay. eBay. I'm not even kidding you. eBay.
That's crazy. That's how you used to have to buy Dogecoin?
Yeah, because Coinbase was nothing back then, and the only way to get coins was to meet someone or some kind of local meetup or whatever.
Some shady
you used to go to eBay and buy like 500% markup shitcoins, and and just hold them. And I remember I got it, and I even tried mining on my laptop or whatever. And there was this girl that I was trying to see, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to go out?" So I'm like, "Yeah, forget this," and that was it, right? I didn't even bother like holding the Dogecoin. And then in 2015, I was back home and with my cousin, and he's like, "Yo, have you heard of this dark web thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, people use that to buy and sell drugs or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, okay. What is this BTC thing they keep talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Bitcoin. It's some kind of weird online currency for drug traders." and he's like, then he actually like that was his first time hearing about Bitcoin and everything. So he didn't come up with like all this mental baggage of like what it does and all the political reasoning for for Bitcoin's like existence and all this. So he was excited, and for that reason I was excited, but I wasn't gonna actually buy any Bitcoin because I was still like a skeptic. So we started doing all kinds of like things to earn Bitcoin for free. We did everything from like faucets to we would sign up for like AWS. You use like the 1 week free renting or whatever, and use that to mine Monero, and then when that runs out, we'll cancel it and start a new account and then do the same thing over and over again.
That's smart.
We did all kinds of stuff, man. Just because we couldn't, because we didn't want to actually put money, because I still didn't believe in it at the time.
So I got a question for you. I mean, I consider myself an OG at this point.
Yeah. Oh God, can we talk about this for a second? Oh my God, I wanted to punch you the other night when you tweeted this. Go ahead.
No, I'm just joking. It was. I thought it was sometimes my what I think are obvious jokes do not come off as obvious jokes on Twitter.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of knew you were joking.
Okay,
but
good.
I think it's still funny.
I like to call myself an OG. If you believe it, you can speak it into existence sometimes.
Okay.
But in my OG-ness, I'm not 100% sure. I've heard the term faucet before. But maybe could you explain that to maybe a noob OG like me?
Okay. Well, I mean, firstly, there was a time when I put a tweet a long time ago saying, like the time you joined crypto is when you bought or earned your first coin, not when you heard someone talk about it. So
I saw that. That's a great way to put it too.
Yeah. So although I heard about Bitcoin in 2011 and I bought Doge in 2013, I would say that I joined crypto in 2015 when I actually constantly did it over and over again.
Right.
As for faucets, they would literally, you would go to a website, put in your Bitcoin address, and click "Give me Bitcoin," and they would give you Bitcoin, and you could just do that over and over again.
For real?
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
And
somebody was telling us
Coinbase used to give you like 10 Bitcoin, like in like 2012 or whatever. If you signed up, they'll just give you 10 Bitcoin, and there were like websites you could just go click, give me, and they'll just give you Bitcoin over and over again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One of our guests was telling us that they used to go hit this Bitcoin faucet and they would get 50 a day. It was like crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
Like
so it's just
insanity.
for you don't have to. You're not like renting your computing power or anything like that. They're just giving it to you.
Yeah, you just click, give me Bitcoin.
The closest thing I've come to that lately is I got an email from Coinbase that if I just read some things on basic attention token, they give me 10, so I did, and they give me 10.
You're hitting that bat faucet pretty hard, bro.
I guess so. It's more of a slow drip, really.
All right, so you've explained faucets to Chamber now.
I'm good.
So, how did you get into, deep into kind of altcoins and trading and all that kind of stuff?
Okay. Again, with the like in the line of like trying to earn Bitcoin in any way possible, we discovered that like you could trade altcoins for Bitcoin, right? You could hit when a shitcoin, launches or whatever, you could just, I mean, I used to literally wait on Bitcoin Talk like every day, just waiting for like the announcement of like some guy launching something, and then I'd be the first one to like reply and download the wallet and try to insta mine the coin and everything. I mean, like if you go up to I don't know, the Bitcoin Talk page of like some of the biggest projects, PivX or Stratus and a bunch of these coins, you would see like I would be like the first person to like reply and like, hey, this is a good project or whatever, and that's how I got into alts. Is again, I mean, the maximalists kind of try to attack people who trade alts like we don't appreciate a Bitcoin, but like in reality we're like the whole reason most people trade alts is to get more Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
Yeah, I mean that, and I mean nowadays there's a whole bunch of other coins that like are actually worth holding in the long term, but like I remember when Ethereum launched, we traded it for like literally pennies, right, and dumped it because we didn't think it was gonna be like anywhere for a long time. In fact, the first time I actually tried to use Ethereum was to try and buy the BAT ICO. I remember talking with what's that guy's name again, the CEO of BAT, and I'm like, this is a good idea, or whatever. This is gonna be huge. And then he raised the ICO from 15 million to 50. So I'm like, okay, man, what are you doing? Yeah, but yeah, and that was actually the first time that I actually tried to use Ethereum for real, and I had to like hit up people like, yo, what is gas and what is this? But that was because we didn't, like, for a long time we didn't think like there were actually second tier projects that were here to stay for a long time.
That's pretty interesting. So do you how do you treat alts now? Like, what is your kind of outlook on alts? Are you still in the same boat where, hey, I'm just trading these to earn more Bitcoin? Do you kind of see projects that you're interested in and have some long-term investments? How do you approach that now?
Obviously, they're I call them second-tier projects, but they are just altcoins that I think will be here for a long time, if not forever, as long as crypto exists. And it's your basic Ethereum and Zcash and all like
and Ripple,
the big names, except
you're such a creep. And Ripple.
Definitely not.
Like Ripple.
Definitely not. Ethereum Classic or Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV or all those other scams. Like those are gonna be dead in a few years. Ripple, to be honest with you, is probably gonna be here forever. But like,
yeah, you're probably right.
No one wants to like admit it, but
yeah. So what else do you put in? You said obviously like Ethereum.
Yeah, so those are the second tier projects that that aren't Bitcoin, that are sort of.
Do you see any that are like creeping up, like that are maybe up and coming? Like last year we had like Tezos and stuff like that. Like maybe EOS creeping into that level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. To be honest with you, I will hold, because currently right now I'm holding a bag of Tezos, and I'm staking it and everything.
Okay.
But to be honest, like I don't have any long term loyalty for for these projects. Although I'm going to hold them because I have some hope for them. And these are the third class projects that I think will be here a while, but I'm not. But like but if something goes wrong, I'm out.
Right.
So what would be your like you said, you bought your Doge on eBay in 2013. You kind of bought your first Bitcoin and stuff in 2015. What you've seen a market cycle or two, and you've seen us all. You've seen, Chamber by the top. You've seen.
You're welcome.
What would be your advice to somebody who's new in the space, either getting in now or somebody who did buy the top at that area? What would be your advice to somebody new?
If you want to get into crypto, like the best way has always been to just, first of all, like, buy. What's the meme? Don't invest more than you can afford to lose or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's been probably the best thing I've done for myself in this space. Because I literally didn't spend a single dollar of my own money. I mean, I spent a lot of time and effort, but I didn't actually put money into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's an interesting approach.
So everything you hold or have now is you did not put any of your own investment. It's either been faucets or all that kind of stuff.
Well,
except for maybe meeting your stranger off of eBay and buying your Doge.
I lost the Doge, but that was a while ago. Yeah, most of it. I mean, I remember. I think when I made my first, Bitcoin was so we used to hang out in IRC charts and people would just exclamation point rain 10,000 coins or whatever, and people would just rain coins on you, and I used to hang out in like a ton of IRC charts and people would just rain, and I picked up like one Bitcoin, and then I used that to trade. And I remember my first 10 Bitcoin was when REKT launched. I think it was in 2016 or something, and they would literally give you free coins if you signed up for the wallet. And there was this like fancy like fraud prevention thing they had, but we're technically capable. So they ended up giving me a ton of REKT for free. And REKT
can't even get Marco to give me a damn jacket, let alone some REKT.
You hear that, Marco?
Yeah, I'm talking to
you. So yeah, I mean that's why REKT has a special place in a lot of people's hearts, is because they did it like in a way that was incredibly fair and made a lot of people money, and it had the hype of a Zcash, right? But literally all the coins were free. So like imagine if when Zcash launched, you got like, I don't know, 10 Zcash for nothing, and then you could just go to Poloniex and dump it for 3,000 BTC or whatever it traded for back then.
Right.
So yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, that's how I did it. I didn't really invest my own money into.
So is Initiative Q the next REKT? Is that what we're saying?
Have you heard of XRO or whatever the fuck that thing is?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now. I'm playing right now. Or I was playing all afternoon.
Is that the new REKT?
That could be the new REKT. Let's look at. I mean, I've made about $2,000 out of nothing, so I'll take that all day.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's actually got a. It just hit IDEX, so now it actually has a US dollar value for the token, which is, I think, about 6 cents at the moment.
That's
so
all right.
My nice 31,000 hero balance.
You got 31,000?
Yeah, bro.
Sitting here with 20.
They gotta catch up. Anyway, so speaking of not investing more money than you can lose, first of all, I think that's a pretty unique story to be where you are and all that without actually putting a dime of your own money in it, which is pretty awesome. So you've got to, at some point along the way, though, have a couple REKT stories. Care to share any with the audience here?
Oh, okay. The crypto REKT story or the IRL?
Yeah, let's go crypto REKT story.
Crypto REKT story. Okay, I mean, the closest one that I can... I mean, I have a lot, obviously, but... Okay, two stories, right? So, I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and I saw Poloniex, right? And I'm like, hey, oh yeah, that exchange still exists. And then I remember like I had like $4,000 on the exchange, but they locked me out because they want me to KYC or whatever, and I'm just not gonna do that. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should log in. I mean, back then 4K was nothing, but in these bear markets, I mean, we're all starving. So I'm like, yo, let me log in and see what's up here, right? Log into Poloniex, click balances. Hey, let me see how much I have left. I have $700 is what's left in there, bro.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then I'm like, wait, why? How is this even legal? Like, how do you lock someone's account and then like dump all their bags?
So what actually happened?
I haven't done anything. I'm like, hey, what? I mean, we're bag holding now, right? We might as well keep bag holding.
Sure.
So I just logged off and left it in there.
So someday you're gonna log back on, and hopefully 10 years from now that'll be worth the wait. And you'll be like, oh, that's great. Here's a college fund.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah, and the other story has to be in. Like a few months ago, I mined 3 coins that I thought were gonna be huge, right? ARO, Haven XHV, and I can't remember what the third one was. I can't remember, and I'm like, hey, these coins are gonna be huge. It was BitTube, yeah.
Oh right.
I'm like, hey, these coins are going to be huge. I bought a shit ton of them, OTC. I'm not going to lie, I spent like a good 5 figures. Like,
yes.
on shit coins, right? So, first thing happened, I put all my bags on an exchange called REKT. I put it on my ARO there because I wanted to, trade a little bit and increase my bag or whatever. No joke, 20 grand was lost there because the exchange just disappeared on us. And then a few weeks later,
so you got exit scammed by this exchange.
Yep.
Oh,
and then
God.
A few weeks later, I tried to update the Haven wallet or whatever, and I didn't have a backup for the seed. And the update wiped the wallet.dat or whatever, and I lost the all those bags too.
Oh my goodness! Because I was gonna say, I think Arrow, somebody recommended that one.
Yeah, we have that and BitTube
and BitTube.
REKT index.
We have both. We have 2 of those bags. So I think, but even Haven, I think, was very popular too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Haven was very popular until the Access scam too. So
right now, is that Haven Protocol?
Yeah, that's the one that just had.
Because I think there's like another Haven too.
Yeah, so all in all, I mean, BitTube was good. I ended up not getting absolutely fucked on that one, but it was good. It made money, but. It's just one of those things where you're like, if this was like someone else, you could you could destroy your entire portfolio here.
Sure, I mean, there's no worse feeling in the entire world than losing like a seed or a backup where you think you can't get into it. So like that just happened to me with all my 2FA when I got my phone had to be factory reset, and so luckily I got back into everything, but I had to do, I had to jump through all the hoops and stuff. So like I had some of my backups, I didn't have them all, and the ones I didn't, I think were like Coinbase, so that one was actually pretty easy to get my identity back, and then I forget what the other one was, but I was able to figure it out. But it was like, like your heart goes into your stomach and you're like, shit.
No, yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, so it sucks. I mean, there's another story too. Like a few months ago, when I was supposed to, I had this exchange deal that I was supposed to do, and they're like, oh, you have to send us this amount of money, for like a certain percent of the the exchange, and I'm like excited. I'm like, yeah, I love exchanges. I like buying into exchanges. So I'm like, if I just put some money on BitMEX on low leverage, I could make like just a little bit of extra money, and just a little bit of extra money, right? And this was literally the day like Bitcoin broke 6K, right? Dumped. So I put on the trade, and then I went off to a buddy's wedding for the weekend, and if you trade anything less than 3x, like the possibility of liquidation is like almost zero, right? It just doesn't happen, except when Bitcoin dumps from 6K to 3K in like 2 days.
In a day, yeah.
So,
oh my goodness.
So yeah, I mean that sucked too, but
and whatever. Everybody was talking about support at 6K too, like that.
I was. I mean, the reason why I did it was because I believed it was gonna hold, but it didn't.
It did not. The question is 3 gonna hold?
3 better hold.
I'm just gonna buy some more, guys.
Well, we've had a little bit of a rally this week, so we'll see how that goes. Speaking of, what's your kind of outlook, Godson, of the overall market here? What do you kind of see? What do you expect?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm kind of a perma bull. It's always going to go up as far as I'm concerned. So I mean, I'm very biased, but on a shorter term trading perspective, my bot went long at that move that happened a few days ago when Bitcoin pumped like $300 in a day or whatever. So I mean, that's sort of my basic parameter for deciding how I feel about the market is how if the bot goes long and I'm like, oh well, we're bullish now. If it goes short, then we're bearish now, and currently it's long. So
you hear that, Chamber?
Oh yeah, I just
all in 100.
You know what I'm doing right now.
All in 100x.
If you have one BTC and you trade anything, if you trade under 3x on BitMEX, you could make in a year you can make up to $100,000 in a year, which is more than most people make.
Nothing wrong with that.
Working 9 to 5, just with like basic indicators, just basic stuff. You can make more money than most people make in a year. So the 100x behavior and the 15x behavior is kind of like it's kind of weird,
reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to share this story, but I'm going to. So, so there's this person that me and my buddy were dealing with, like, back when the bull run was going on, like, hardcore, and he was somebody, like, we thought we were gonna try to, like, bring into our mining stuff and all that, and it turns out that this guy's just kind of blowing smoke and full of shit and all that stuff. And so he actually texted my buddy the other day, and he sent me screenshots, and basically the guy's telling him how he's making basically $1 million by 100x leveraging on BitMEX, and I'm just like, I'm dying laughing. I'm like, no way, man. I'm like, this kid is losing his entire stack, and like, he's getting liquidated immediately. Like, there's no way. But it was pretty funny. But
yeah.
Anyway,
all right. I got approached this weekend. Actually, I was at the grocery store. This is a weird one. Normally I'd go to the grocery store after I was done work, so I usually have like a suit on and stuff. And I've been going to this grocery store for 8-9 years now, so they kind of know me. So I had like a butcher come up to me the other day, like 2 days ago, and he's like, "Are you into stocks?" And I'm like, Yeah, like a little bit. I said I said right now, I said I'm a bit more into like cryptocurrency, and he started talking. He's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, and blah blah blah. But he switches the subject back to stocks, and he starts selling me on this like opportunity, like a stock. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
You're just there trying to get a quarter pound of turkey, and this guy's trying to get you to short Netflix.
But he's like, oh yeah, it's like this. I don't know. He was like, oh, it's like this company that like takes like fracking water and then changes it back to regular water. I'm like, ooh, like cutting edge. I'm like, I have no idea what. So but we all want to know, how much did you give him? I gave him my entire stack. I couldn't resist. But yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm like, do people just look at me and say this guy bought the top of some market cycle? Yeah, you're just wearing a fucking sign over your head that says like, top buyer. But no, he asked me, he's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I told him what I did for a living, and he's like, oh, I thought you were a banker. I'm like, what? I'm like, you just thought I was a fish. But yeah, he thought I was a banker. I'm like, no, unfortunately not. I said, I do something else, but not a banker.
Not a banker.
That's pretty funny. All right, so we've got your REKT story, your crypto REKT stories. Godson, do you have a real life REKT story? And now we were talking before the show. This can go in any multitude of ways. We've heard pretty much any iteration of a REKT story you could possibly think of. What do you got for us?
I mean, my life story has been pretty interesting. One day, if I'm successful enough, I might write a book about it. But I grew up in West Africa and then moved to the UK when I was 16, and now I'm here in America. So I have like a lot of stories, but probably when I'm trying to convince people that I've seen a lot of shit, I usually just go with the story about like one semester when I was a kid. When I was 7 in primary school. I don't know what they call it in America, high school or whatever. And we used to walk to the school every morning. But there was this like period of like unrest where there was just a lot of crime in the city. So like people would just like, I don't know, attack each other and try to rob banks, and the police would just kill like, I don't know, 50 people and just leave their bodies in the streets or whatever. And then we'd just like, as kids, we still had to go to school. So we just like walk past them and just like skip, hop,
Well, we have a winner. Oh my goodness. I'm not sleeping tonight.
Godson playing hopscotch over 10 dead bodies.
That's a winner. I don't think we can get much better than that.
Oh my goodness.
I was freaking out about one dead body the past summer, but that's much worse.
Things got better though. I mean, things got better in the area, and luckily, it's not as bad for the generation growing up now. But it is, it is for us. But it's also good because it made me into like, I literally have like fear of like nothing. To be honest with you, I mean, I've seen way worse than most people have. So it's like it was kind of a good moment, like a teachable moment, just to grow up and be tough.
Well, if you think about, I was just thinking about like how things are, in different parts of Africa and different countries. I think it's more of like a time thing where in different parts of the world you had maybe similar unrest. If you look back in Civil War times in the United States and colonial times in Canada where I am, like it was insane. Yeah. But it's because we were, growing as an independent country. And I think a lot of the African countries kind of just recently gained their independence. So I think, is that probably one of the biggest, trying to figure out who's in charge kind of thing? Yeah,
so what happened was, to be honest with you, like most countries gained their independence in the 60s. And the 60s and the 70s were kind of great. But then the 80s and the 80s particularly was really bad, and to be honest with you, it was just like the the reverberations of like the Cold War, really that caused it. Yeah, so a lot of countries would try to you know, do some like I don't know, become more, you know, socialist, and you know, there'd be a coup and a counter coup. I mean, we had in the country that I grew up in, we had literally coups that would last like, you know, 14 hours, and then there'd be a counter coup, and
that's a quickie coup.
I know.
Can that be the hashtag for the episode?
Quickie coup.
Quickie coup
and
is
yeah.
the hashtag.
So, you know, that'd be like, you know, it just like there was just a lot of unrest in at the time, and a lack of security. So, but you know, things got better. It's like, you know, think of Syria. You know, right now, Syria is you know, actually a really good country to, you know, to live in, until, you know, the whole, you know, civil war started. And, you know, now it's like a hellhole, right? I mean, Libya used to literally be the most like if you look at the indexes, you know, like the human development indexes, Libya was literally the best place to live in all of Africa, right? Until, you know, Hillary came in and fucking, you know, destroyed it. Now it's the worst place to live. So it's like,
are we talking about Hillary Clinton?
Well, I didn't say anything. Yeah,
no, that's fine. Hillary C. That's what we'll call it.
I don't want to be disappeared.
That's funny. That is awesome.
You know, that's what happened. Is like you have these like small periods where things will just get really, really shitty, and then things will get better again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so you've definitely had a pretty interesting, you know,
a life lived.
Your life there. Yeah, for sure. So we appreciate you sharing those stories with us as well. But so to make the leap to this segue, we're going to get into some news. Chamber, start us off with a couple of news items.
With maybe the story of 2019 so far. It's 2019, right? Okay, I didn't miss a whole year.
It is 2019, yes.
2018 felt like 7 years, so I just want to make sure we're in 2019.
I think so.
So this is the article on Quadriga, but from CCN. They were talking about one of the biggest losers in this, you know, quote unquote, missing passwords / possible exit scam. California engineer loses $422,000 in life savings after using Quadriga. Is help coming? So apparently, this guy used to live in the U.S. Was moving to Canada. Used Quadriga to, you know, move his money over, and it was right in the middle of what was happening. So he is out, you know, almost $500,000 and is pretty boned right now.
Yeah.
To put it lightly.
Yeah. So they're saying the government of Canada might actually come in and assist here. But I'm more, I don't know, like I've been, you know, reading a lot of articles and listening to a lot of stories on, you know, the machinations of what actually happened. Like, I don't think we've gone into depth on like the storyline. So this guy like went to India with like Crohn's disease.
Yeah, he has
Crohn's disease. No, he brought his Crohn's disease as a carry-on, I believe.
I was like, how many ounces of Crohn's can you bring?
So yes, traveling with his Crohn's, went to India. This guy was 30 years old. Okay,
so younger than both you and I.
Both of us.
Yes.
I definitely thought this guy would have been much older. You know, from this first story, but had signed a updated will, or a new, maybe even the first will. I think it was an updated will, like 30 days before he left, something like this. Just recently married his wife, longtime girlfriend, maybe, or maybe friend. We're not sure there either. Like there's questions on whether or not this guy is like a Machiavellian us right now.
To be I have this saying that I made up, right? In crypto, anything that can be explained by, I don't know, but like anything that can be malicious should not be, you know, considered like it's like a Occam's razor, but I switched up like, the meaning. Like it basically
That's the simplest answer.
No, yeah, the simplest. Yeah, but like, if it can be. If it can be explained by maliciousness, it
will
be attributed to stupidity, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
So like, I firmly believe that like the system overload thing on BitMEX is complete BS. It's just it's just one vector that they have, and
right.
When people were spamming the blockchain with Bitcoin to earn more fees, in 2017, everyone was like, oh, it's because transactions are very high or whatever. Nah, it was just people were literally spamming the blockchain just to mine more fees, and so it's personally, I you plan for the worst and hope for for the best. So I think it's very possible this guy just took the money and ran
on an island somewhere,
went to India and got a debt dude, you can get a debt.
Did you see the death certificate? It looked like it was printed out on a napkin.
It doesn't even matter. So okay, here's another story from West Africa. When I know a guy who wanted to go to he wanted to come with me to to the UK, but he was only 16 at the time as well, and he couldn't come because he didn't have a guardian. So he literally just went to like a nursing hospital and got a new birth certificate, and just went and got a new passport. And he was magically 4 years older than he was, and he could travel anywhere he wanted.
That's crazy.
These things aren't hard if you're from a particular part of the world. So
I watch a lot of basketball. Yeah. And a lot of players that come from Africa, like that may have come from UK or Germany or anything like
that. Old as hell, right?
Yeah, and that's always the question of like are they their actual age? Yeah, they say he's 18. He looks like he's 23. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, but
yeah,
it's
LeBron
James and Greg Oden are both American, and those guys look like 45 years old when they were 17. So
Greg Oden has 8 great grandchildren.
Yeah, I mean, come on, yeah, so. So I guess they could be the age they say, but you're like you said. I mean, if it's possible, why wouldn't you try to shave a couple of years off?
So I've actually changed my name like 3 times now, because I wanted to, my dad got like an inflated ego one time, and he wanted like his children to have his name as their last name. So to change your name, you just go to a newspaper and publicly declare it. And
really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when they print it on the newspaper, then you just take it to any court, any judge or whatever, and he'll be like, okay, your name has officially been changed, and that's it, right? Then you can go get a new passport and you're a whole new person. So
how many names would I've changed by now?
Yeah, so
you could change your name to Chamber.
I could. It's better than my actual name.
So I've changed my name 3 times now. So it's not hard to, especially the fact that he went to India and died over there. Like why are you there? Like I bet you have better options as a multi-millionaire, right?
So Godson's on camp, faked his own death. Chamber, are you in this camp as well?
I love a good conspiracy. I'm like, he's definitely faked his death.
All right. I think that would be plausible too. And then I saw something the other day that said, or maybe it was today even, that said like in the month leading up to his death, that like over $1 million in funds from the hot wallet were moved to other exchanges. Yeah. So, he could have been moving stuff.
Like 12, properties and things like this. And he married his girlfriend right before they bought all this property, moved all this money, and he died. And also, like, what's the story with the co-founder who was like a dark web?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Theft, whatever.
The plot thickens.
Yeah. So like you have to remember most people who got into Bitcoin early did it because they needed some money to do some illegal shit, right? And
Right.
they were on the darknet. They wanted to buy drugs, something, and then they were like, oh, it's basically two types of people. Well, three types of people. It's the technical anarcho-capitalists or whatever. The gamers who just had a ton of graphics card that they wanted to use for something, and people on the darknet trying to do some illegal shit, right? So everyone's got some shady history if they're old enough in crypto. I mean,
yeah, I got some serious shady history. Nobody should be doing business with me.
I mean, what's his name?
I'm interested to see
Roger
what you
Ver-
think of this next story then, because
okay.
so we had Brock Pierce on last week, and
Okay.
so when he was on, he was telling us in very graphic detail about how he had purchased Mt. Gox from Mark Karpelès, and he plans to revive it. And then a couple days later, the news story broke on CCN, and Twitter went wild.
For the record, was that broken on our show, by the way?
I honestly, I think it was, because that was the only place I've seen him talk about it. So we have some exclusive.
I was
Brock.
no big deal.
I mean, whatever. We're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But so since then, this story comes from Abacus Journal, and so I don't know if you've seen this, but since then, since that story broke, there's been some Twitter drama versus basically Brock Pierce versus Karpelès on Twitter. Have you seen this, Chamber?
No.
Have you, Godson?
No, but
I know
Okay,
there's something happening. I just didn't read it.
So basically, when we had Brock on, Brock basically told the story about how in 2014, I believe, when Gox
right
was
before Gox
crashing,
went down.
like literally the day, he made an offer to buy Karpelès' 88% stake in Mt. Gox, and that he had done so. And so basically, 72 hours later, Karpelès took to Twitter, and they had a pretty interesting exchange back and forth. So Brock had told us that he had purchased, and there was an agreement in place for him to have purchased Mt. Gox from both of the founders. Karpelès said that he denied that any purchase agreement was even ever drafted, and then he said that Brock Pierce had threatened to take their argument public, which clearly had happened because they're on Twitter. And then Pierce, says that he owns Karpelès' 88%, and that Karpelès is now backpedaling. He claims that Karpelès was attempting to pocket the $700 million surplus that Mt. Gox has, and he also claims that Karpelès has a partner who has secretly been doing the negotiating. And then Brock Pierce drops the mic on Mark Karpelès with the closing line, "Aren't you about to go back to prison?"
Wow.
So that all happened on Twitter literally maybe yesterday or the day before, right after all this news had broke right here on REKT Podcast. So I'm interested to hear Godson's take on the whole Mt. Gox revival, on this little exchange here. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, you have to think of like all the possible motives for everybody. I mean, Karpelès was going to end up with it was like $1.2 billion or something.
Yeah,
of the surplus, but Bitcoin dumped, so less money. And I don't know what the story is with Brock, but I always find it weird when people like publicly like discuss their moves. I think I've made this point before when last week when people were passing the torch or whatever on Twitter with Jack Dorsey and
his pro Bitcoin tweets.
And and everybody and people were like, "Oh, this is weird. This is great." And I'm like, he bought into the Lightning company, so like he has to shill it, right? It's his company now, and so I don't know exactly what the story is with Carpelis, but all I have to say is my man's looking like a model these days. Like, have you seen him? Like,
there's a picture of him on this. There's a picture of him on this. He looks very different than what I had seen him like
if someone would put me in jail for 5 years or whatever, and when I come back out, I'm a billionaire and I'm looking like a supermodel, bro, I'll take that deal any day. I don't even.
That's awesome. That's interesting. Awesome. So that's going to do it for us for the news. We are going to get into some rapid fire. All right, so Godson, rapid fire is basically we're just going to ask you some questions, some crypto related, some not, and you just give us your answer basically to let the audience get to know you a little better as a person as opposed to just a anonymous crypto personality.
Avatar, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I think we covered the beginning part of this. What was your first altcoin ever purchased with Doge? What is your current favorite altcoin?
My current favorite altcoin has to be my biggest bag, which is mainframe, MFT.
MFT.
I don't know anything about that. Tell us a little about it.
Mainframe is a decentralized internet company. Have you watched that show Silicon Valley?
Yep.
Yeah, they're basically Silicon Valley, except with an Ethereum ERC20 token attached, and they gave us the opportunity to invest in them like a while ago, and they've been paying out like a certain amount of coins every month to all the investors, and I've just been holding mine. So
awesome.
It's kind of my biggest bag. So
I got a question for you. No, so we have an account for the show we call the REKT Index, and over the months we've asked guests to tell us what bags to buy, and we've accumulated I don't know how many now, like 30 or 40 bags over the last few months.
Okay.
But I was gonna do a spin on that today. But since you brought up mainframe, I've been on Binance. I just sold a bag of LTC. So I was going to convert that I was going to change it into something else. I was going to ask you. I can do a live market buy right now.
Yes, do it
on MFT. Is that the move?
Well, first of all, this is not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
This is fun advice. This is financial advice.
Financial
we call
advice.
it financial advice.
Yeah, I posted it on MFT chat like yesterday. I think it was like the last thing I posted on Twitter, so you can take a look at it.
All right, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to market buy that.
You're going to market buy it. Do it
right now. Okay, 1 second.
That's fantastic.
All right.
That's so good.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
You did it, didn't you? You did.
Done.
That is the number one thing we would recommend not to ever do. And you just did it. There you go.
We're living life on the wild side today, boys and girls.
Oh
do as we say, not as we do. That is financial advice. All right, next question. What is your favorite comfort food?
Oh my god. I have an answer, but it's gonna sound dumb when I say it.
No way, it's your favorite. What is it?
Alright, so like before I got onto the show, I was really hungry and I had like 20 minutes to eat something, so I just I just buy like a thing of like fried chicken from like Walmart, and I just like I have it in my fridge like all the time, and every time
Sounds
I'm like
delicious.
a little hungry, I just pop in and I pick up a few and I put it in the microwave. So that has to be my comfort food.
Are these full
Fantastic.
pieces or chicken wings?
Oh no, full pieces.
Oh,
bro.
that sounds good. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to just move on to the next question. because we've gone down this road with Chamber before. So.
Marco buy some of that too.
Let's go with who would be your celebrity crush?
Ooh. I mean, I used to crush on a lot of people, like when I was younger.
Who's at the top of your list right now?
Right now, I don't know. I mean, okay, to give you an idea of like the type of crushes that I used to have. I used to be like crazy about Rihanna and Megan Good and Kelly Washington. Is that a name?
Yeah. I know her.
Is that a name?
That's a name.
Yeah. So like, if you can picture that type of women, that's kind of like the type of women that I'm crazy about. But right now, I kind of overgrew like the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Sure. Those are good. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite movie, but it's the movie that I've seen the most times out of every movie, and it's The Social Networks, the Facebook movie.
Yep. Chamber, you seen that one?
I have seen that. It is a good movie.
Yeah, it's just because like I think everyone kind of wants that story, and being in crypto has kind of like allowed us the avenue to actually maybe achieve that story. So. Yeah, it's the movie that I've seen the most times. Although I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I mean, my favorite movie is probably The Lion King or something. But
Lion King's a classic.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. I got 2 kids, and I hear like the real version of Lion King's coming out
in April. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so pumped to see that.
That's pretty cool. Chamber, you got any more rapid fires before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Cool. So now we are going to do some Would You Rather.
Now we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
All right. So I posted a couple of these on my Twitter this afternoon. So I'm going to ask them to the both of you. Let's start with this one here. Hold on. Let me go in order. I'll cut that part out there. Okay, here we go. Would you rather eat only pizza for 1 year or eat no pizza for 1 year? Chamber, let's start with you.
Okay. I saw some of the results from this poll early on. I don't know what they are now. But I would go only pizza. Like, I mean, who would live without pizza? I don't want to know the person that's going to live without pizza for a year.
Godson?
No pizza for you.
No pizza.
So I don't get the fetishistic fascination with food that people have here. Oh, I can't live without Chipotle. I can't live without pizza. It's like it's not that great,
That was a great impression of me.
Yeah, he only talks about Chipotle.
No, it's more pizza, but no, that's fantastic. So you would go no pizza for a year rather than only pizza for a year. Is there a food that you would, so like if I replaced that exact survey with fried chicken, for example, which you said your favorite food,
only microwave fried chicken.
Only
that for a year, or not be able to eat it for a year? Would that change your opinion?
I mean, I think currently my diet is like 80% fried chicken, so I think I'm already eating only fried chicken.
So if I had to take it away from you, you would go only fried chicken for the year. Yeah. Got it. All right, next one here. Would you rather know how you will die or when you will die? Chamber.
Fudge. Oh, either just awful.
Somebody commented on my post and said this made me anxious, so I didn't answer.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw this one. Like this, I don't think I saw this one you posted.
Well, talk yourself through it. So, right. What's worse? Do you think it's worse to know how or worse to know when?
Right, like if you know how, and then you find out like you die in like a ski accident, you just avoid ski hills, but then you're like, there's this huge anxiety of like, I'm gonna get to a ski hill eventually, and that's what's gonna kill me. So I don't know when. Then you have it could be too. The problem is with when it's a 50-50. If it's 50 years from now, fantastic. You know what I mean? Good. I'm fine with that.
But if it's next month,
exactly. Before the next Bitcoin halving,
right?
You know,
who would want it? What's the point of even living?
Exactly.
Might as well end it now.
I think the how.
The how.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Godson?
To be honest with you, I'm not so afraid of dying, and I'd rather know when, because then I could just live my life to the fullest up to that point, and then just
I like
when
that
the
answer.
day comes. Yeah, when the day comes, I could just be like, yo, I'm ready. Come take me, right? And to be honest with, like, most people know when they're gonna die, right? We're not all gonna live to 100, right? Most of us are gonna die between 70 and 90. So you kind of know when you're gonna die.
I'm looking to be the singularity where they can just upload my thoughts.
That's deep right there, because that is pretty true. So
wise man, you're a wise man.
And you two have disagreed on both of these answers.
Obviously, the
one. Just fantastic.
The people should be going with not me, by the way.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Last one here. Would you rather lose the ability to lie or believe everything that you're told?
So,
Chamber?
My wife and I were talking about this about an hour ago.
This is the most lopsided one.
Is it?
Yes, it's actually very. So the one I just said, the one we just did, 70% chose when they would know when they would die rather than how, which I thought was interesting. 57% said no pizza, and this one is an 89% to one side. So what did you come up with?
So I would say never have to lie. Is that the majority?
Never have to lie. Well, yeah. So this is positioned as lose the ability to lie. So
sorry. That's what I meant. Yeah, never lie. So I couldn't lie if I had to. That's the majority.
Yes.
Because
as I grow older, you'd be living liar.
Right. Like as I grow, but even like in life in general, I find as I grow older, like telling the truth has just become easier because I don't really give a fuck about what anybody thinks. So telling the truth just becomes easier. Like I feel like when I was a kid, I would lie a lot, and when I'm an adult, I don't lie that much. So I don't think I would, I don't think I miss it that much.
Yeah, this is also not really a big question. I mean, the question is, would you rather be honest or gullible? I mean, it's not even
right.
Not even
I don't want to be gullible.
I mean, and if people know that you can't you cannot tell a lie, they would even begin to trust you even more and love you even more, because then they know. I mean, he's telling the truth, but that doesn't mean that he kind of he hates you, right? I mean, if your best friends are the guys who tell you what you don't want to hear, but they're still your I don't know, your squad, right? They're not gonna desert you, but they're gonna tell you if you're looking like a pizza roll or something,
Right.
I think I agree with exactly that.
See, we even agreed on that one. His answer was better than mine.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why he's the guest and you're the host. That's exactly the point here. Hold on, I'm going to give you one more here. Let's see. Would you rather... I feel like this is an easy one, too. Would you rather visit 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future?
Are you asking... You're asking a black man if he wants to go 100 years in the past.
Oh, my God. All right, next question. Next question.
You didn't ask me. I like to time travel. I would also go into the future. I don't like... Yeah, it seems way better in the future.
Well, I feel like everyone in crypto would pick the future, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, I guess.
No, but I mean, I've always said, every year that we've been alive has been the best year to be alive. You know what I mean? Like, with the best health care. Like, it's best to be a human currently. Always currently. And it's never better in the past.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, right?
Yeah, I mean, the future might get super weird, if you wake up tomorrow and all kinds of, things that you didn't think were acceptable are now acceptable. Like, that might, freak you out or whatever, but... Dude, I mean, okay, if you said like 1,000 years in the past, then yeah, maybe I'd do that. But like literally, like the last 100 years,
not so good.
The worst time period for someone of my heritage. So
that's very true. 1,000 years would be more interesting. I would probably rather do that also.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be pretty wild to be back 1,000 years. But
is that like Black Plague times? Like I don't want. It's
1,000 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when was the big plague? Was that in the 14s?
Yeah, the Middle Ages. So yeah, the 11th.
I think you would be Chamber. I think you'd do good. In
oh yeah,
times.
I've always thought that. I'm like, okay, if even if shit went down today, like I feel like it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Like I watch
What
a lot.
does that mean?
I watch a lot of end of days stuff. I'm like, I got this. I know what's going on.
You're a doomsday prepper.
Not a prepper. I'm just keeping an eye open.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up all of our segments. Godson, we really appreciate you coming on with us. We want to give you the floor to kind of talk about anything you might be working on. Where can people find you? We didn't really talk anything about shitcoin talk. So tell the people where they can find you guys and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously you can find me on Twitter or to tell you the truth, like my one of the reasons why I don't even think about doxing myself that much is because like my shitcoin persona is kind of like bigger than like my actual persona, right?
It's like when you find out Bart Simpson's an old lady, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you googled altcoin Godson, you would find like 1,000 entries of like I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, I'm on I've been on a lot of podcasts. You'll find out like a lot of things, but if you Google my actual name, you might find like one thing about my dad, but that's it, right? So it's like so yeah, if you just look up altcoin Godson, you'll find me everywhere. Yeah, and shitcoin talk has been like one of the bigger things we've done. But I have a YouTube channel where I used to post some like basic information for people trying to get into crypto, and you probably get my Twitter account first, and that's probably like my favorite point of contact. And if you want to send me an email, I'm on Proton Mail at the same username. So
awesome. Like we said, we really appreciate you spending some time with us. That was an awesome conversation. Really cool to hear your story. I'm going to go try to buy some Doge on eBay and see how that works out.
I'm up in my market buy, by the way.
He's still over there market buying. We've had a very productive hour here. So, but anyway, other than that, don't forget to leave us some reviews and 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts. It really goes a long way to getting us out there. Join us in our Telegram group, t.me/rekt_podcast. Follow us on Twitter at rekt_podcast. Am I missing anything, Chamber?
No. Oh, check out our Patreon too. Did we say Patreon?
No, that's your job. That's why I kicked it to you.
So that's why you're a professional. I don't appreciate your professionalism as much as I should. Yes, but visit our Patreon page if you'd like to support us.
Perfect. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you for listening. And until next time, don't get wrecked. And that is financial advice.